guys, so today I want to talk about finally getting a library card and the 3 books that I took home with me. So I was born and grew up in a small town in Germany, and I remember as a child I had these phases where I went to the library a lot and then I didn't go for a whole year. I always loved the feeling of the library and I always loved browsing through the books, but I wasn't the biggest reader as a child. Like, I read occasionally, but I never read as much as I do now. The library was actually the reason why I am the reader that I am today, because the reading phase that I am in now began in the beginning of 2012, and at the end of the year I really started using the library. And I remember that year I read some popular YA books, I read some John Green books, and at the end of the year I just went to the library and I just kind of wanted to see what books they have, because I just remembered that they had quite a big children's section and quite a big, for the town that I was living in, for being a small town, there was quite a big children's section and quite a bit adult section, and I never really knew that young adult even existed, and so I kind of went there and just browsed, and then I saw The Hunger Games. I was never interested in reading these books because I didn't really enjoy the movie, but seeing the book there being available to me, I was just like, why not read it? Because I was in this really great reading phase. And then I started reading more from the library. When I started my booktube channel, I really started reading all of my books in English. Like, when I started the channel, I read some in English and some still in German, because I got most of my books from browsing through bookstores, and obviously I only had German books available there, or I got them from, going to the library, which also only had German books. And so when I joined booktube, I really transitioned to basically 99% English books, and so I stopped using the library. But as a lot of you might know, I moved to Berlin in August 2015, and I have been wanting to go to one of the big libraries here in Berlin for a really, really long time. I was like, we're in Berlin, this is a very international city. I was like, I need to check that out. I need to go into one of these big libraries. Well, almost 2 years later, I'm a procrastinator, I finally went to one of the biggest libraries in Berlin, and they have an overwhelming amount of English books. And if I would take one of you there, you would probably be like, that's a really small section. But having one whole shelf full of English young adult novels was the absolute dream to me. I was so happy being in that library, I could have cried. This library is also actually connected to Overdrive. So in my wrap-ups you will see that I am listening to a lot of audiobooks, especially non-fiction. I wouldn't normally buy these things, but because of Overdrive, I can listen to these things for free. And that is amazing. I'm just so happy. They don't have the biggest amount on there as well. I think, because of legal reasons, they can't have everything available in Germany. But so far, I'm still so happy and overwhelmed with all of the choices that I have, and it just makes me so happy. I am finally owning a library card. I can get books from the library. I can get books from Overdrive. And it's just amazing. By the way, libraries in Germany do cost something. It is most of the time not a lot. I got a student discount anyway, so I'm paying €5 for a whole year. I think the price for a normal membership is €15. So it's really not a lot, but I do feel like it's kind of another thing that's important to point out, because I think in the US, basically all of the libraries are free. I don't really know how it is in the UK. Let me know in the comments down below. But here it's kind of normal that libraries cost something. I mean, it wasn't a problem for me. Paying these €5 for a whole year was absolutely fine for me. But for some people, it won't be possible to have €15 or even the €5 you pay as a student. We praise libraries a lot, which is great, because many booktubers don't use the libraries that they have as much as they should. But we should always think about people who may not have access to a library because they cannot afford it, because it's physically not possible for them to go there. Might always be reasons for someone not to use a library. And I feel like while it's always good to suggest to go to a library, it's not something we should assume everybody can do. Anyway, so I got 3 books from the library. At one point, I definitely had 10 books that I wanted to pick, and I was like, I need to chill. Just choose the ones that you feel like you're really gonna read. And so I have 3 books. They are all YA contemporaries. And the first book is definitely the one that I'm most excited about and that I'm 100% sure that I will read before I have to bring these back. And that is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Now I do have to say I will probably end up loving this and want to own it anyway. But, you know, it was available there, and why not just, you know, get it now, read it, and find out if I really like it enough to own a physical copy of it. If you don't know, I love The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, and I'm just very, very excited about this one. This is definitely the book that I want to read the soonest out of all of them. Then I have The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis, and while this is on my wish list, I don't think this is anything that I would have picked up anytime soon. It deals with like heavy topics. I think the main character in this book actually is a friend of a girl who was raped and murdered. I have heard many great things about it and that it deals with the topic in a really great way, so I'm excited to dive into that. And finally, I have You Know Me Well by Nina LaCour and David Levithan. I have recently made a Top 5 Wednesday video about authors I want to read more from, and Nina LaCour was on that list. And so when I saw this, even though this book in particular is not on my wish list, I was like, why the heck not? It's YA contemporary, it's romance, it's queer. So I don't know why this wasn't on my wish list, but I'm excited to own it. It's also very, very short. Pretty sure it's under 300 pages. I'm just really happy with the choice that I have. So you can borrow books for 4 weeks, and I think around 2 weeks are over now, so I should really get to them soon. But my TBR this month was so full and I just did not get to them yet. But I think they are next on the list. Hopefully. Whatever happens, I will definitely want to read Simon before I bring this back to the library. I don't know if I end up reading the other 2 just yet, but I was just so excited that I had 3 books from the library that I was really interested in, that I had heard on BookTube. It makes me so incredibly happy, and yeah, I just really, really wanted to make a video about it because I feel like some of you just say you don't understand how, I mean, privileged sounds like really pathetic, but like how lucky you are that you have a library that has a big section with English YA books where you can even have new releases on a list, and as soon as they come out you will get them from the library. Like, that's not how it works here, not at all. But I'm just happy I found a library that has a few English books, and I'm just excited to read these, hopefully, and to check out more from the library. Anyway, I would love to know any stories about you and libraries. Do you use libraries? Do you not use libraries? And why? And maybe if you are not from the UK, US, Germany, write me your experience about, you know, libraries in your country. That would be really, really interesting. Like, as I said, normally here you wouldn't really find English books except for classics in a library, but Berlin, obviously being the capital, being a big city, being an international city, I'm lucky. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!